GamerGobble.
Hello and welcome to another episode of GamerGobble, the first after a little bit of a vacation for both of us. I'm your host, Ian.
And I'm your co-host, Tim.
Not a lot has happened over the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks rather. Fortunately.
I think it's been 3, just about.
Right? No, this episode, it's been 3 since our last episode, so it's 2 weeks without episodes.
Yeah.
In any case, we haven't missed out on much. We actually had an eventful week last week, which is perfect timing for us. So without further ado, let's get started with This Week in Gaming.
This Week in Gaming.
Few things this week in gaming. Here's a story that I found kind of funny that I actually wouldn't let Tim read about because I wanted to explain it on the show. Nintendo is getting sued, or at least a lawsuit filed against them. Don't know if it'll actually make it through court. Regarding the Nintendo Switch. A small company, I forget the name of the company, but the developers behind the WikiPad are suing Nintendo for supposedly infringing their patents with the Joy-Cons, the controllers that slide onto the side of the console.
Oh, I thought it was the whole thing. I didn't get to read it, so I don't know what
I didn't want you to, because the WikiPad had controllers that detach from the unit and eventually from other tablets and smartphones.
Is that it? Is that the only
Yep.
similarity?
And they look kind of similar because they sort of were copying the look of the Wii U gamepad.
Oh.
For marketability, and of course the Switch also looks like the gamepad, which Nintendo owns. So I thought this was funny because in no way do the Joy-Cons really infringe on the patent, unless you want to go with the general concept of detachable controllers. But the WikiPad controllers do not slot into a grip to be used as a standard gamepad. They do not act as individual Wii Remote nunchuck-style controllers. They cannot be used as Player 1 and Player 2 controllers with their own separate shoulder buttons and stuff. They are just controllers on the unit. So there's really no major connection there, other than that this company wants to try and halt Nintendo Switch sales to market their own failed product. Nintendo's going to curb stomp them in court. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Nintendo has their first successful console. I guess it's the Wii. But the Wii U was such a flop. Nintendo's not going to let their first good market shares in years go down like that.
Yeah.
They're not going to let this go lightly. They're going to stomp them. They're going to be confident. They're going to be strong about it. So
while we're on that, wasn't there another funny little lawsuit thing? A little side note?
Yeah, so this is a little side note. Just sort of piggybacking off of the Nintendo thing in the news articles that we were researching before the show. Disney is getting sued for this is just, I don't really want to discuss this. I just think it's funny.
Okay.
For spying on kids playing their mobile apps like Where's My Water and the other Disney
All those
games.
Creepy people at Disney trying to
I like to think it's Walt's frozen head just watching on a big screen in his freezer. You know about that, right?
Yeah, I know the whole...
Yeah, so I like to think
with
Walt's just frozen head is watching them play Where's My Water. Biding his time, waiting for the prime target for which to attach his head and be brought back full force to presumably to underpay his animators once again.
Hey, that's not what he did that counts.
He believed in
message.
Imagination, creativity, and money. So much money. It's a little less interesting than Nintendo's case because, they're not gonna they're not gonna get in trouble because terms of service.
Mm-hmm.
You can agree that most apps spy.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying, but you know.
And you just mostly could disable it. You just say, no, please don't look at here.
I think Disney's you actually have to agree to the privacy thing to play the game. And most kids aren't going to read that, but you know what? That's a loophole for you. That's Disney's problem.
Yep.
Whereas Nintendo's is obviously a more interesting case of, did they infringe copyright? Which is, of course... So that's not going to lead to anything. But hey, I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Other news. This one's kind of something I'm really mixed about, and I'll explain why. Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 was released, if you're not aware, Tim. Mega Man Legacy Collection. You can guess it. It's a Mega Man compilation.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Man Legacy Collection was a pretty excellent remaster of Mega Man... Well, not remaster, but just upscaled port of Mega Man's 1 through 6 for the NES on PS4, Xbox One PC, and 3DS. Now, obviously, there are more than 6 Mega Man games. In the classic series specifically, if you go by console releases, it goes Mega Man's 1 through 6 on NES, Mega Man 7 on Super Nintendo, Mega Man 8 on PlayStation. Mega Man and Bass originally only released in Japan as Rockman and Forte on the Super Nintendo, but later got a Game Boy Advance re-release over here as Mega Man and Bass, which is how I own it. And then Mega Man's 9 and 10, which were downloadable games for Xbox, PS3, or like Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii. The collection includes Mega Man 7, 8, 9, and 10, which is cool because it's the first time we'll have a physical copy of 9 and 10. Those were download-only games. Having a disc release, of course, cements them as unable to disappear. They're not going to ever just be pulled off the marketplace and never be accessible again.
That's
for
good.
New customers. There will be physical copies of those games. For the sake of preservation, I think that's phenomenal and incredibly important. What's not so important are 2 things. One, it's missing one of the Mega Man games. Why, Capcom, when you're already screwing up Mega Man so royally that the fans are coming out in droves and making Mega Man 2.5D, Mega Maker, Mega Man Unlimited. I'm doing a video on Mega Maker over on my channel, which is why I have all these fan games on top of my head. I was recording footage.
Selfless plug.
Like, no, I'm explaining. Yeah, it's self-plug. But, like, my point is, like, the fans have come out in droves and been supporting the Mega Man franchise while you haven't. You're releasing this compilation, which is a step in the right direction. Why not include all the games? And that's kind of annoying. But then again, Mega Man and Bass is pretty obscure.
Well, that's what you buy the second pack for.
Well, Mega Man and Bass, in its own defense, in Capcom's defense, I guess, is pretty obscure. It's probably most obscure of the mainline Mega Man games, and it's definitively the worst. I don't like Mega Man and Bass that much. I don't hate it, but like it's unfairly difficult if you're playing as Mega Man. Bass, the other character you can play as, is actually fun to play as. He has a double jumping and shooting in 8 directions, and has a dash like Mega Man X, and he's fun. Mega Man's gameplay is traditional. It's nearly impossible because the levels were clearly not designed for him. So yeah, the game's very flawed, and the Game Boy Advance version. This is the main reason it annoys me. In the West, you can only get the Game Boy Advance version, be it on a physical GBA cartridge like I have it, or as a Wii U download. So the game is still available readily over here, but it's on GBA, so the screen is way smaller, and to compensate, they zoom in the camera a lot, to not sacrifice sprite quality on the smaller screen, which means that you're trying to play the hardest Mega Man game with less space to view what's going on.
Yeah.
Just jumping causes the screen to scroll. It is nearly impossible. So I was really hoping that it would include Mega Man and Bass, just so we'd have the Super Nintendo version with a normal camera. It doesn't include that, so that infuriates me. The other thing is that it's a Mega Man collection not released on a Nintendo platform. There's no Switch release, and no 3DS release. I assume they're probably going to do like a Mega Man Legacy Collection Ultimate Edition for the Switch or something that includes all the games. That's my guess as to why they didn't release it on Switch. I'm sure we'll hear about it later, because Mega Man and Nintendo are... Mega Man's a third-party franchise, but it's pretty much with Nintendo. He was in Captain N.
Yeah.
And Captain N was the best show ever made. Mega High! So, yeah.
That's cool, I guess.
So, I don't know, but there's a few things that frustrate me. But hey, a Mega Man released. That hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah, that's something.
And speaking of blue characters fighting mustachioed robot-creating scientists, probably the biggest story this week, I think, in gaming is the release of Sonic Mania, which is a game that I think, I'm incredibly excited for. We are recording this on Monday, and I don't know if it's going to release at midnight on the Switch, like as a download, but if it does, I will be playing it at midnight. If not, I'll be playing it whenever it updates at like noon tomorrow. Either way, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about Sonic Mania, because the only reason it's not Game of the Week is because I haven't played it.
Yeah,
and
but you will. So.
I mean, I've played it. I played it at E3.
Yeah, but...
one level, which was great for what it's worth. I liked what I played a lot, and I'm very excited to play it. And I think Tim has no interest in Sonic.
I have a little interest.
He respects the series.
I respect it. I like Dr. Eggman.
He likes the Sonic Boom cartoon show.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you've liked almost all the Sonic cartoons.
I
think you enjoy the characters, but not...
I grew up with Sonic cartoons instead of the games, and people don't like Sonic X that much, but hey.
I think, I think for you you love the characters, not the games they're from.
I guess so.
You are fond of Sonic as a character. You're fond of Eggman, Tails, Knuckles, Amy.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah,
and
Big,
the fun little things that
we
fans
all
do
we
with
all
them,
just want Big the cat in our lives, like an like an angry stepfather looming over us all. It's what I want in life, is an angry, abusive Big the cat beating me with his fishing rod.
And his pet Froggy.
Yeah, he'll be like, "Where's Froggy?" I don't know, Big. Please stop hitting me. That's what I want in life, more than anything else. I'm sorry, I'm tired.
See, you can take Sonic to many beautiful places.
Oh, more than anyone else.
Plenty of people have done this already.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the part of Sonic that I like more.
He has a very interesting community behind him, and this game is nice.
Yeah,
Segue
speaking
there.
of community,
This game is created almost entirely by members of the fan community, prominent fan game developers and ROM hackers, musical remixers. In the case of T. Lopez, who's done some fantastic work, and I love the score to Mania from what I've heard as well. Everything about this game is developed by a fan, but it's not a fan game. It's just a game made by fans for fans, which sounds like a fan game, but it's not, because this game has a budget and resources behind it, and it's gonna be absolutely phenomenal if reviews are anything to go by. So I'm incredibly excited for it, but I don't want to say too much because I haven't played the whole thing yet, and that's all I'm gonna be doing over the course of the next week. So I'm sure I'll be talking about it a lot as next week's Game of the Week. Anything else to add on it before we move on to Game of the Week?
This game will send you back to the past.
Like the Angry Nerd video game?
Yeah, except that it won't be a bad game. It'll be a good one,
it won't be James.
apparently.
James Rolfe is a good game.
Yeah.
No, seriously, the
yeah.
AVGN adventure games are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about them sometime.
Yeah,
but
one
not
day.
today.
Okay.
I love him though. Thank you for. I don't know why we're talking about the Angry Video game.
I know.
right now. I love you, AVGN. James Rolfe, you're my friend now. We're YouTube buddies now. We're partners. Yeah, you give me some money.
Okay.
That's how that works, right? You give a shout out, they pay you.
Yeah.
Yo, Ego Raptor, we like you. Give us money, please. PewDiePie. Pro Jared, we love you. Give us money.
Oh. Well, I think we've stretched out this.
Donkey, give us money. Okay. Game of the week. Let's go.
Game of the Week.
The game of the week is SimCity because we couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah, SimCity.
But in the same, city simulators in general.
Yeah, but there's only 3 really. And
my experience with SimCity starts with the Super Nintendo version of the original. Well, not my experience starts with that. I played SimCity 4 before that, but on the Wii Virtual Console, I got the original version of SimCity as like one of the first games I downloaded because I didn't know what else to download, and I don't know if you ever played the SNES version of the original.
No, I never played.
It might just be the most grounded and strategic of the SimCity games. The Super Nintendo version of the original. It's considered by fans to be one of the best in the franchise, and it's really good.
You know,
Bowser's in it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He tramples the cities,
right? Yeah.
and it has Mr. Wright, who is a ridiculous caricature of Will Wright, the creator of the Sims franchise.
Okay.
And he's in Smash Brothers.
Well, you know what?
He's the guy in Smash Brothers who throws buildings at you.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember talking about that one time.
So it's cool that there's SimCity representation in Smash.
You know, the first SimCity game I ever played was, if I remember the name correctly, it was SimCity Snap or something like that, and it was
iPhone game.
Not an iPhone game. It was those really old PC games, like the ones that come in the boxes and like they're targeted for kids.
Right.
It's one of those. It's basically, instead of laying out your city with roads and buildings and all this other stuff and all that customization, it's a puzzle game with SimCity.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It's a mixture of horrible but challenging. It's like you get blocks. You have your 3 types: your industrial ones, your like business ones with shops and stuff, your residential ones, and they show up at random, and you get like 5 of them or something, and you place them down, and like each block benefits the other in some way, shape, or form, and then it's up to you to place them in a grid to fill up your city in a way that makes the best budget and keeps money flowing. It doesn't crash the city.
It sounds like the fundamental mechanics of SimCity just really simplified.
Yeah, and like every so often you get a special block. I think like you get a firehouse or something. You put that down to cover an area, and once your board's all filled up, you have to start deleting other buildings to put in new ones to keep the city from collapsing.
It's the mechanics of SimCity just in a puzzle game.
Yeah. So it's weird. It was weird. It's weird. My first entrance to the whole thing. But then I played SimCity 4, and that was good.
SimCity 2000 might be my favorite, personally. I love SimCity 2000.
Mm-hmm.
It's another one. SimCity 4 is somewhere between streamlined and complex. Whereas SimCity 2000 is just straight up complex. I love SimCity 4 as well. In high school, or might have been middle school, but I was in the gifted program because, r/ I am very smart. And I had a teacher who I guess she gave up because she left the district shortly after. But she was like, your project is to play SimCity and create the best city. And everyone took it very seriously.
Wait, seriously? You never told me this story before.
Yeah, and I obviously I can't give names because we're on a show.
Yeah,
and I'm
it's okay to have to give names. I just
but you'll know who I'm talking about just based on context, which will make you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
But every school had this sort of group of the kids who I won't call any of them snobbish because I genuinely liked all of them, but this was middle school. They were really snobbish, and a few of them took everything academically incredibly seriously, specifically one of them. And she was so incredibly passionate. I was one of the only guys in gifted. It was me and a friend of mine. So that's how I know this is a middle school story, because he switched to a Catholic school upon high school. But in middle school, we were in there together, and we split off into groups and made cities. Now, I had played a ton of SimCity 4, which was what we were doing. So I was like, yeah. So whenever it was time to build a city to the best of our ability, it took me, two class periods to make a pretty good one. Functioning, everything in place, firehouses, all the roadways working, everything was wired correctly, everything like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the other students who were taking it much more seriously than me were struggling, but really trying and doing math to figure out how much to spend instead of just, no, it's spent too much. Get the bulldozer and delete that fire hall, which somehow gets you money back.
It's funny because you're a gamer who's played SimCity.
Well, in the end, I built a city, but before it was graded, I got bored and I sent in a Godzilla.
Oh,
or it was SimCity 4, so a mecha, because that was the one with robots instead.
Oh,
and I had it destroyed. And they were like, what are you doing? I was like, I got bored and I killed everyone. And I still got an A because she didn't care. She was so done with us. She was like leaving the district in a month or something. So she was like, hey, you probably did it. And they were like, but he didn't do it for real. He was just playing it like it's a game. I was like,
actually,
no. I was like, I know a thing or two about SimCity. They were like, clearly not. And I was like, well, I'll tell you that Will Wright invented the SimCity series, and then later on developed The Sims as a spin-off based around building houses, and gave the whole history of the Sims franchise. And I think I talked about Sim Ants, which is the best Sim game.
I never heard of Sim Ants.
Well, you can probably guess it. It's about it's SimCity, but ants. That's the entire thing.
Whenever I think of spin-off Sim games, I think of that weird Wii series,
like My Sims.
Yeah, My Sims.
This was before The Sims.
Yeah,
this was of the Sim franchise, which The Sims became a spin-off of, and then its own separate sub-franchise.
I can picture how you felt when they said, that you
I
didn't know
don't drive well with that.
It's like, no.
I didn't care. My logic was, I don't care about this assignment because this is bogus and it doesn't mean anything. And
you know how the game works.
And I'm gonna destroy every. And I think I saved before I did it too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. If it was graded, I probably saved beforehand.
Yeah.
And then just was like, die, and sent in a bunch of. I think I sent in a tornado, a flood, and the mecha Godzilla looking thing.
Did the others even know that you could do that?
No.
I
think they saw the disaster tab and were like, I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. That's the best part of SimCity, is making them giant metropolis and then destroying it.
Can you tell me if their city at least looked good or something?
I didn't pay attention to that. I was too busy being indignant.
Okay, good. So SimCity 4 is the one we both spent the most time on SimCity wise, I think, right?
For me, it's SimCity 1 on Super Nintendo.
Okay, then for me it's SimCity 4.
But SimCity 4 would be up there.
SimCity 4 got me into the whole city building
Such
genre.
a great game, though. It really is.
And while we're here in SimCity, let's talk about that new one that
I was
know
going
a
to.
little bit about.
SimCity 2013, I think it was.
I don't know.
Was
SimCity Online.
Yeah, it's the
It's not the official name, but that's what it is.
Well, it was. Now it's not. But it was the reboot by EA that I don't know about you, but I was super psyched for.
Oh, I was excited for it. I really was.
There were some things I never played it, but there were some things I really liked about it. Like the way that wiring works is that when you connect things with roads, it automatically does the electrical with it.
Okay, that's handy.
Because there was no. I always ran the telephone wires alongside the road.
Yeah,
because I think you had to.
That's realistic.
So it's like, so yeah, that was handy. If you connected a building to a road, it was connected to electricity.
Yeah,
and like things like that were really good, but the map sizes were pathetically small.
Yeah, that's the bad thing.
The always online nonsense. Ugh. The game itself seems structurally fine, and if it's ever like on sale, I see it on sale on Origin all the time. If it ever drops below like $15, I'll probably pick it up.
Of course, it came out right around the time its main competitor came out.
Yes.
And that blew all city building games out of the water.
City Skylines. I've not played, but I've watched Tim play it.
I have this game. It is perfection.
It seems pretty phenomenal. Well, it's more of an evolution of SimCity 4.
Well, it's amazing
in a lot of ways.
I mean, first of all, it was made in Unity, of all things. So, props to them for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's better in every way. The map sizes, they're gigantic. They encourage botting to add anything you want, like literally anything, new modes, different objects, maps, buildings, yada yada yada. So someone automatically made a mod that just unlocked the parts of the map that were locked, just so you have something that fades out to nothing. So your maps are even bigger. Like, I think one square, it's like a grid. I think it's like 45 squares or something. And you used to only play in the middle 9. And then they upgraded that. And then there's another mod that gets all the way to the very, very edge of the map where it's just fog and stuff. But it's crazy. So, like, one square of all those squares is, like, bigger than the one in SimCity.
Yeah,
to start with.
It's kind of sad to see. I think the latest SimCity game is actually a mobile app. But
yeah,
let's be real. Who cares at that point? I'm sure it's fun. I think a mobile simplified SimCity would be a great time to play. Like, build a city on it.
I think I tried that out one time just as
I heard it. I'm sure it's fine.
Is it the new one or is the SimCity 4 free one? I don't know.
No, it's a new one. I know there's a pretty bad port of SimCity 4.
Yeah, that might be the one I tried. It was weird, but
because the interface just didn't work. Like the game was structurally fine. It was the same game. It was just
tinier.
Yeah. I think they made like a pseudo port / spinoff of the recent PC game for Android. It would be fine. Whatever. I mean, honestly, building, connecting roads and stuff with your finger, that would work well. But mobile games being that complex usually doesn't work out.
So City Skylines blew everything out of the water, set a new standard for city building games,
really
yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And there's a third little guy. I'm not sure how
Minecraft?
much you know about it. No.
You gotta use the redstone.
It's actually Cities XL. And recently, Cities XXL, which I have to tell you I'm not sure if I ever told you about this, is the most hilarious thing ever. Okay? So, Cities XL, I got it because it looked good. The whole thing with Cities XL is that it looks slightly prettier, I guess. Like the buildings, everything is a lot more high poly, really high quality. When you go down into the street, like, what is it? The City Skylines wasn't actually meant to go into street view, but there are mods that let you do it. From a distance, the buildings look amazing, but like when you zoom in, you start to see, they're not the highest poly except for some of the modded ones, and the textures are more low res because they're meant to be seen from a distance. Whereas Cities XL was meant to, when you build your city, just scroll on in and take a look at your city in person, right? And that was the problem with this game was a whole bunch. Okay, first of all, City Skylines, I'm not sure if the SimCity does this, but it has this really crazy system where it generates every building has a certain amount of people that go in that building and live there and stuff, and their actual physical AI, like they appear in their building, they get in their car, or take whatever transportation method you put there, go to work, yada yada yada, do whatever, come home again, and it simulates that they're there, they are actual people, you can track them, but in Cities XL, there aren't people. It's not like the system of flowing traffic and people try to take this route to go here. No, you just put buildings that people want. And when you zoom in, there isn't crowds of people going and doing whatever wherever you are. They're horribly cartoonish, super think of the most cartoonish parts you can think of, like when you look at old propaganda posters and stuff, and make that into a really
like
creepy
racist World War II era ones.
Yeah, like things like that. I'm serious.
Why?
Take that, turn it into a 3D model, and have it walk down the streets of your super realistic looking city. And also, there's like 5 of them at once or less, and they fade in and fade out at random.
Oh, good.
And when you're looking from a distance, you don't, in City Skylines, you see the traffic, you see the cars and the trains all going where they need to go, and the traffic builds up, and they don't despawn unless like there's a really unfixable error, and the computer does that to fix the error. In XL, they fade in for a bit here and there, and then fade out, and that's it. So you don't get to see the people in your city. You just kind of see the city and the people and buildings and cars. They just not the buildings, the cars and the people just show up whenever the computer feels like putting them there. And there's not really much challenge to it either. Like in both Cities Skylines and SimCity, it's all about building a city and then meeting people's needs. You need houses, you start with the houses, you need shops for people to buy stuff, you build those, you need places for the work, you build those, you build facilities like fire departments and police and all that stuff so they handle those problems, and you keep increasing and moderating that as you go along, right? In Cities XL, you just put down stuff. So they say, people want this, so you put it down. That's it. You don't have to balance it, there's no thinking involved, you just put down stuff whenever it says you should probably make more of this, and takes all the challenge out of it. And the whole point about it looking really good is that it's really taxing on your system and it's not optimized at all. So it's basically just really, really bad. And then like placing roads causes the frame rate to drop to like 2 frames a second. Just placing big roads.
Good.
It's like, that's good. But I'm just gonna wrap this whole rant up by saying Cities XXL, the sequel, right? It's the most beautiful thing ever. They advertised it as like fixing everything wrong with XL, right?
It's garbage, isn't it?
It's literally, I'm not joking, it's the same game.
Oh.
As in the code, when you look in the thing, it doesn't say Cities XL, it says Cities XL.
So it's basically a glorified mod.
It's not even a mod. It doesn't, the performance, okay, how do I describe this to you?
It's just the same?
It's the same game with like 2 new things, and I think the frame rate is almost better, but not quite.
Oh, so Call of Duty.
When you place a big road, it goes to 3 frames instead of 2. and supposedly they added in multi-threading so your cores can actually do stuff, but I don't think they did. So it's basically just all city games with slightly increased graphics on the buildings, and everything else is horrible. And also there's no terraforming. Like, there's very moderate terraforming, and it's like you can modify a hill to go 2 feet higher.
The SimCity reboot didn't have terraforming at all.
I guess it's
one of the big flaws it has, because it's super limited in that regard. Mm-hmm. I'm going to close out the SimCity rant by pointing out the fact that you don't know how good you have it. You never had to play SimTown. That exists.
I guess I didn't.
You didn't have to play Sim Golf. That exists. You build a golf course.
That actually sounds.
You didn't
cool.
have to play Sim Ant.
Well, I never had to play Sim Ant. I agree with you there.
Who had there's Pro Jared, I believe, had a great video about Sim Ant.
I'm gonna have to watch that after this.
Yeah, and if any viewers are interested, check that video out. It's hilarious. It's like the funniest. I think it was Pro Jared. I'm like 90% sure, and it is like the stupidest game. I adore it.
Great.
Man, if I'm gonna play, I was always more of a Zoo Tycoon kid.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about Zoo Tycoon later, because if you want to talk about reboots botching it,
oh boy,
I don't even want to think about Zoo. Have I talked to you about the Zoo Tycoon reboot?
I did. We did a little bit.
Well, not today.
It's
not going to be a rant for today, because
you
thought that segment was long. Jeez, you don't want to hear me talk about what they did to Zoo Tycoon. In any case, that's game of the week, or franchise of the week, or genre of the week.
Yeah, all those.
Whatever. Hype train. Let's go. Woo.
All aboard the hype train.
Hype train. I couldn't really think of much because there's a lot I want to talk about, but I want to sort of save it for later. So I figured I'll briefly cover a game that I didn't really give much of my impressions on post E3, even though
We did a little. I think
we mentioned it in the post E3. I talked about it at E3 in those videos, and I mentioned it for I think like a minute or so in the post E3.
I think we focused more on their booth than we did the game
more
itself.
on their booth than the game, yeah. And this was the highlight of E3. So I'm just gonna talk about my impressions from E3, and I don't guarantee we'll cover it again because the game comes out in about 2 months. But regardless, Super Mario Odyssey, which is the only game that I know of where you can make a plumber possess a dinosaur.
I can't think of any other games that let you do that as of now.
Well, before we go any further on the topic of plumbers and dinosaurs, we talked about the Mario movie on the show multiple times. We're both fans of it.
Yeah.
I'm a big, and this is totally off track and nothing to do with anything, but since we're talking about Mario, I want to just mention it. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. It's my favorite franchise in the entire world, and there's the new Godzilla movie coming out 2019, Godzilla King of the Monsters, which features a few other kaiju that I adore. I'm not going to rant about Godzilla because trust me, we'll have segments about that later.
Oh boy, this again.
And my channel is going to have shameless plug. I'm going to be doing Godzilla month on my channel.
That's your second shameless plug this episode.
Hey man, that's okay. And so my point being, I'm not going to be talking about Godzilla much, but on the I sent Tim a picture. I don't know if he actually looked at it. It was a picture of the sound cart that they use to project the sounds of bullets and kaiju roars on set. They have like a special sound system that's like near deafening apparently for the sake of immersing the actors.
Wow.
But it had some stickers on it, and I looked very closely and I noticed one of them was on the set of a Godzilla movie, on the thing that like the kaiju roars and bullets and missile sounds come from. There was a bumper sticker that said "Walk tall, stand tall, walk proud, Goomba." And I was like, "Whoa, Mario movie! Hi, what are you doing here in the Godzilla universe?" And if we don't see Godzilla versus Toad Goomba from movie playing his harmonica, I don't want to see it.
Unless we Godzilla versus King Koopa instead of King Ghidorah.
Well, you see, it would just be 3 CGI Dennis Hopper heads, all being like.
Well,
where's my pizza? Anyway, back on topic. Mario Odyssey is like the coolest thing I've ever seen in a video game. Like the game as a whole was utterly mind-blowing for a couple of reasons I just want to cover real quick because I don't think I did the game justice, and I don't know if I'll talk about it again as a hype train segment, but I will for sure talk about it as game of the week when the time comes. And Mario Odyssey, from what I played, is probably going to be my game of the year, and that's saying something with Sonic Mania and Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn and a few other really stellar games. 2017. This is the first year that I've really enjoyed gaming in terms of new releases in a while, consistently. But Mario Odyssey looks like it's going to be standout for a few reasons. One, it looks better than it has any right to being a Switch game. The Switch is a pretty decently powered handheld, and it has some very pretty games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is a Wii U port, but it does look better than the Wii U version. Breath of the Wild, very pretty. Again, looks better than its Wii U counterparts. Splatoon 2, again, looks better. But most of these games are either ports from Wii U games or sequels to Wii U games running on the same engine. Mario Odyssey is an all-new release, similar to ARMS, which was also very pretty. But the thing with Mario Odyssey is it looked really, really good.
I agree.
And it ran really, really smoothly.
It was kind of like all those Mario and Unreal Engine videos done right.
Yeah, except with like an appropriate art style.
And
I just want to address a couple of things about the game that I thought were standout and really express to people who haven't played it why critics are not exaggerating whenever they express excitement for this game. It is genuinely one of the greatest things that I've experienced in terms of a demo in my entire life of being a gamer. Tim didn't play it because he didn't want to wait.
Yeah, I was done holding the camera behind him for all that time.
It was a 10-minute demo,
and it was like an hour and a half wait or more. I don't remember.
It was.
I've erased that memory.
Well, surveys and numbers have come out and stated that it was the most played and anticipated game on the floor by far.
Well, there you go.
It did. I think it actually beat like the Call of Duty games in terms of its overall player base.
Well, I saw
the
you
only
play
difference
it,
being that
was
Call
like...
of Duty had like full-on matches as demos, whereas
Well, we got a pretty
It was
decently long.
It was just
demo of
it's a
it.
10-minute demo of just playing the game
Mm-hmm.
over like I think they said 80 different kiosk monitors.
Something like that, 85 or
They didn't
something. I
have
don't
as
know.
many for COD and such, so those games had much longer wait times.
Mm-hmm.
But Mario Odyssey, I think, actually had more plays, which is really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And it deserved them. Mario Odyssey did everything I was hoping Mario Odyssey would do, but better. So, Tim is a Mario fan, but not a huge Mario fan, I would say.
Yeah, I like Mario and I like the characters and stuff, but overall, I'd say you're a lot more of a Mario fan than I am.
Yeah. And to be honest, I've always been more of a Sonic fan than a Mario fan.
Mm-hmm.
But like objectively, they don't even compare. Mario is so much better than Sonic, in terms of overall game design and execution. Sonic for me is just like,
Yeah, and Mario's faster.
shut up, game theory. You don't know me, Pat. You don't know what Sonic can do. But like the thing with, and this is just a brief comparison I want to make here. With Sonic games, a lot of them are pretty bad. Games like Sonic Heroes or Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are games that I adore and have so much fun with. Or Sonic Lost World's another one that reminds me a lot of the adventure era in this regard that I have so much fun with, but oh my god, is it beyond flawed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, overall, if you had to rank it as a game, it would probably rank average to below average, but the parts that are fun are just too fun to care.
Mm-hmm.
With Mario, you don't have that. With Mario, you have a quality product. The worst 3D Mario game, objectively, would be Sunshine, which had so much charm and was so well designed,
still like
regardless
that.
of its execution. That's actually my favorite 3D Mario game. I love Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I love all the 3D Mario games, and I think Odyssey is going to be the best one by far.
Yeah.
So here's why. In terms of its level design, it's the most open. It out-opens worlds, 64 and Sunshine in a couple of ways. Sunshine's levels were a little more open than 64's, but they were more confined in terms of your objectives.
Mm-hmm.
This game is like, screw you, and just straight up makes open worlds. And when you get a power moon, which replaced the stars, you can just move on and get another one. I collected a couple of them during my demo.
Yeah.
Very Banjo-Kazooie-esque, which is a good thing. That's awesome. I love the fact that it doesn't take you back to the hub world and then put you back in the game and then take you back to the hub world and put you back in the game, back and forth, back and forth. I don't mind that in games like Galaxy or 3D World where it's very linear, but when it's trying to be more open, that always annoyed me. So they improved the formula that it was trying to emulate, which is pretty impressive. The other big thing for me, presentation aside, because we already said the graphics are great and the music is great, because One Up Girl is the best song ever written by humans ever. Okay, it's no Live and Learn, which is the best video game song, period, and you can fight me on that, but it's really, really good. The thing that really impressed me, above all else, which is something Tim can't relate to because he hasn't played the game, but he will play the game when that comes out. I'm sure he'll try my copy of it. We may or may not do an LP of it on the channel. Depends on our moods, pretty much.
Yeah.
Depends on what we have going on. At the time, we have college coming up, which is just beautiful.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. This show is structured around us being able to produce it while we're in college. But back to Mario Odyssey. Tim can't relate to this. Viewers can't relate to this. You have to play it to understand how absolutely perfectly Mario handles in Odyssey. Words can barely describe how absolutely beautifully maneuvering Mario feels. It's just phenomenal. Every single move of the analog stick, Mario goes exactly where you want him to go. Every jump has the perfect weight, the momentum, the jump arc, the distance, the movement speed. It all feels like they took Sunshine and then made it not glitchy. Because Sunshine, you'd be running around and then you'd do a backflip for no reason and then you'd die.
Yeah.
But this game's controls just feel flawless. Now, I think Mario games always have pretty good control. That's part of what makes them so fun. But this game just takes it to another level. This is going to be something special because moving Mario is in itself more fun than Galaxy was for me. Now, I love the Mario Galaxy games. They're masterpieces. I don't think they're the greatest games of all time like people claim. But they're up there. They are legitimately phenomenal games. They're some of the best on the Wii. They're technical accomplishments. And just in terms of game design, they really are both standout games. I think you can agree with that. Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are awesome games. But just the act of moving Mario in this game, it feels so natural. They always say, "Oh, this character feels like an extension of the player in games," and I've never felt that like I did in my 10 minutes of Mario Odyssey. And it's something I want Tim to experience. So
Okay.
you'll see whenever the game comes out.
No, we'll do.
I don't think I've played a game since Mega Man X where the control of the character felt so connected to the player. It's something special. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about Mario Odyssey yet. We haven't seen that much.
Mm-hmm.
But having played what I've played and seen what I have seen,
It all looks good.
game of the year.
Yeah.
Like, unless Sonic Mania takes it for one thing. This is a Sonic Mania spoiler. If you don't want to see it, click about 2 seconds forward in the video from now. Sonic Mania has Knuckles and Knuckles mode, where Knuckles is followed by Knuckles. So that might be game of the year just for the meme. But that aside, no. Joking aside, Mario Odyssey, I think, is going to be game of the year. I think it's going to be Breath of the Wild. I think it's going to be neck and neck between those two games, because if you haven't played Breath of the Wild, play it. It's phenomenal. But I think Odyssey's going to outdo it, and I think Odyssey's going to make the Switch shortages even worse.
Yeah.
And
Which
I think
is-
it's going to be absolutely worth it, because it is going to be one of the special games Nintendo's ever released.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's good that Nintendo's consoles are all selling out now and they're actually doing good.
It's like the Wii all over again, pretty
Mhm.
much. I mean, to a lesser scale, but pretty close. And, like, you don't have that much experience with the Switch. You've played a fair amount of it.
Mm-hmm.
You've played a few games on mine. And
Well, you beat
others.
like several, like you beat Breath of the Wild and done all the side
Yeah,
stuff.
I
I
don't
play Mario Kart a few
I
times.
don't use my Switch as my I don't think it will be my primary console, because it's sort of a niche thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it will be my most played, because the exclusives it's getting are just phenomenal, and Mario Odyssey is going to be another addition to the list. And there are some games where I think it's just, like, functionally useful. Like, I'm getting Sonic Mania instead of getting it on PS4. I'm not waiting for the PC release because it got delayed on PC, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I thought about getting it on PS4. I'm gonna get Sonic Forces on PS4. But I actually am getting Sonic Mania on the Switch purely because that's a game that I would rather have on the go and on the TV.
Mhm.
With other games, I mean, there's technical limitations. I don't want it to run at a worse frame rate or whatever. So in that case, I
Yeah.
just get it on PS4. But for what the Switch does, it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But its exclusives are just knocking it out of the park. Nintendo has not pulled something like this off in a long time. The Wii U had great exclusives. Don't get me wrong. Mario Kart 8 was fantastic. Splatoon was fantastic. Smash Brothers is my favorite Smash Brothers game, actually. I love Smash for the Wii U.
Yeah.
But, like, you had to wait so long in between games.
Mhm.
Like, the Wii U is worth it in the end, I think, as a console.
I think so. I don't know. I got it because it's like the one thing we all could play together, so that's why I
Yeah.
have one.
Well, you don't really need a console because most of the games you want are released on PC.
Yeah.
Um,
That's more like a family dash friends. We can all play this together when we're over and stuff, kind of thing.
I have a PC. I have a gaming PC. It's about as powerful as Tim's.
Mm-hmm.
It was acting up, but then I realized it's because I bought a graphics card off Tim, kind of, and then I never actually installed drivers for it.
Oh, you did tell me about that
I
part.
just realized. No, I did install drivers, but at one point I had a bunch of malware, so I cleaned out a bunch of stuff, and I accidentally deleted the AMD folder.
Oh, geez.
So I was rocking stock.
That'll do.
I was rocking stock drivers and Intel drivers.
Mm-hmm.
This GPU. The fact that it was playing games fine, but it couldn't handle recording, which annoyed me because I know obviously my computer can handle running a game. Okay, I can't run GTA 5 on max settings and record. Tim couldn't either.
I kind of could.
You could, but it wouldn't be 60 FPS.
It's weird the way it
You
works.
have to lower some settings.
Yeah.
Not most. You have to lower like the unimportant ones that don't change anything,
Mm-hmm.
but like that you feel bad about lowering.
Yeah.
Because playing games on ultra is a good feeling. But like I couldn't get like GTA to record over like 15 FPS, and I couldn't get even Sonic Generations to record over 15 FPS. And I was like, what is wrong with this stupid GPU? Why can it play the games fine but not record? Yeah, it's because I was actually operating on 1 gig of VRAM.
Wow.
It was reading as having 8 because it has 8.
Yeah.
But I guess the drivers only supported 1.
Well then.
So it
that's
was playing
something.
the games fine, but whenever it went to recording, it couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It was super bottlenecked. So then I looked and I was like, I haven't haven't done a driver update in like a few months. I should really do that. And then I look and I don't have any AMD software installed. And I was like, oh, that's why. Because I guess AMD was next to a bunch of the adware stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up just deleting that by accident.
You know what's funny? I did when I got my new graphics card, which is NVIDIA now. I cleared out. I ran several programs to clear out all the previous stuff from AMD because I wouldn't need it anymore. And I'm still getting AMD driver update things that pop up like, oh, can you get an update? I'm like, I had uninstalled you months ago. Why do you still want me to update the AMD?
You have that going on, and yet I didn't even know I didn't have drivers installed.
Exactly.
Which
I'm getting driver updates for a graphics card.
I didn't really play a ton of PC over the summer. I was using it more as a edit station for stuff that I ended up canceling. But I mean, I did play on my PC, but again, it was playing games fine. I didn't even think to do a driver update. Because usually driver updates are automatic.
Yeah.
But I went and I thought I haven't seen a notification for that in a while. I go to open the AMD Catalyst software. It's not there. I run a wizard to see what drivers I've installed. There are none. So as a computer science major, not my best moment.
Yeah.
As someone who literally is studying to make a living off of computers, missed that one.
Yep.
It's probably only like that for about a month.
Well, it's okay. You didn't start studying yet.
No,
so you
I
didn't
wasn't
know any
educated.
better.
Shut up. But yeah, that was a bit of an. It wasn't. If anything, it was just like, oh, good. And now it didn't impact gameplay for whatever reason. I'm still playing high-profile modern releases at 60 FPS just fine.
Oh, whatever the problem, you fixed it.
Yeah, well, now I can record again.
So-
Now I can record at 60 FPS.
Yeah.
That's quite the improvement. And I got off track from Mario.
Yeah. Mario Odyssey went to Sonic, went to...
What fun is a
computer
podcast
programs.
if you don't get off track?
Yep. Speaking of which, we still have one more segment left.
It's going to be a shorty because this show is running over its time limit already, but we're going to have to do it. So, let's talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, the reason the GamerGobble's been off the air for all of 2 weeks, although I doubt many, if any, have noticed.
Except for our one dedicated
we love
fan.
you, fan.
Mhm.
But I pointed at the monitor, and I pointed at the screen with Audacity open,
it's
like,
okay.
as if it represented something.
It does.
While screaming that didn't. Okay.
The point is, we were off having fun.
Kind of. We were on
Kind
family
of.
vacations, which lined up well enough there.
Mhm. Except his was longer.
Mine was longer, and it was convenient. I got a lot of editing done on some stuff for my channel. Tim got some upgrades in here. We have acoustic foam.
Yeah, that's
In
something.
the-
Can you tell? Can you hear our voices sound better?
Probably
I don't know.
not, but it'll help with our OCD about it.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
it does feel nice. It's thumbtacked on the walls, which looks ridiculous.
Well,
but
I tried double-sided tape doesn't work, and I wasn't gonna pay for the double-sided sticky panels. That's like you get 2 for $15.
Yeah,
Like,
they're really
I'm not
expensive.
gonna buy those.
so
So thumbtacks.
and we'll probably continue to further soundproof the room.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is technically Tim's bedroom, but he doesn't sleep in here, so it's really more of a studio.
Yeah, something like that.
Um,
I bought this futon. I was supposed to be able to sleep on it, but
it's just a couch.
it's just a couch, and I don't know. I've broken too many things pulling
Yeah.
it out, and there's just too much stuff under it. So
And I'm gonna be upgrading my room to act as sort of a double bedroom / studio.
mhm.
It's already halfway there. Let's be real.
just about.
But like some stuff like this is gonna be GamerGobble's studio purely because we are not moving the mic stands, the microphones, and the soundboard back and forth between locations a mile away for no reason.
Yeah,
It's annoying.
and there's a little bit more room in here.
It's a bigger
I
room.
mean, I'm not sure what if you get your new stuff in, if it'll be
It
bigger. in there, but-
it will because my bed won't be there.
That's true. His bed's like half his room right there.
Yeah.
So.
And it'll still be half my room when I have it folded out as a bed.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to declutter to even do that because I have to declutter just to get my bed out of there.
Exactly.
Like, it'll probably. I think we'll use it as a Let's Play studio occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're playing like a retro game, it would just be easier to. I'm gonna get a second mic stand.
Mm-hmm.
Like a set of mic like a cheaper mic stands for there, so we can do our setup there. It wouldn't take long to set up.
Yeah.
We can deconstruct and reset up in probably 30 seconds. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Whatever.
the soundboard. It's not a
happens.
soundboard. Our setup isn't particularly advanced. It's a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 SM 57 microphones with
But it's a lot. To us.
A180 something Oh, it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's a professional grade setup. It's just
Just
not
about.
a very I don't know if the focus rate's considered. Yeah, it is. Focus rate's considered professional.
Well,
grade.
regardless of all this, I believe we were about to talk about our
Well,
vacations.
yeah. Well, my point being, on vacation, we upgraded the studio. Tim upgraded the studio space a little bit, which should slightly improve sound quality. Although we're recording with the window open, which won't help.
Yeah, I probably should have closed that.
I wasn't paying attention.
Hey, it is a little bit of cold air in here. You have to turn
Yeah.
the fan off, so...
Yeah.
You might have heard a few motorcycles and trucks, but...
You didn't hear the train.
Yeah.
Tim lives next to a train track. It would be, even with the windows closed, it'd be unrecordable.
Yeah.
The walls shake, so
Yeah.
it would be completely impossible to record.
Anyway...
Because we don't have shock mounts.
Hey, we didn't need them.
We really don't need them. But
Okay, anyway...
in any case, we went on vacation.
Yeah.
Tim's was more interesting than mine, so we'll talk about mine first.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the beach with my family
Whoa.
to Emerald Isle, North Carolina. If you don't know, it is in North Carolina, obviously. It's
Whoa.
on the island of Bogue Inlet, I think.
Oh, not Emerald Island?
Emerald Isle's the name of the town.
Oh, Emerald, okay.
Or
Well...
it's something. Bogue something is the name of the island.
mhm.
I go there almost every year. It's a fun island, I guess. We stayed on the Point, which is the area where the Sound, which is the salt water that is completely still because it's not ocean, where that intersects with the ocean, and they merge into just being ocean.
Mhm.
Which means the view was fantastic, and the beach was really cool. There were seashells everywhere. I saw a lot of weird stuff. But there was nothing nearby. Like, I couldn't walk across the street and get a coffee because the nearest area to walk to get anything, which would be sodas, which were 69 cents, LOL, which is a nice price
Yeah,
to get
it's
soda for. It's really cheap.
really cheap.
For like
Opposite of the area I went to.
a 54-ounce soda
Oh, jeez.
for 69 cents. That's good.
Yeah, that's
And
really
every
good.
7 soda was free.
So that's even better.
Yeah.
You lived in Soda Land.
Yeah, pretty much, except for the fact that the nearest gas station I could get soda was like 8 miles away or something. So it was not reasonable for me to walk, and I don't have my car yet. So I was pretty much stuck drinking soda at the beach house, which it's just not the same as fountain soda.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know is stupid, but ideally I'd have coffee. There's some really good coffee shops down there. Next to where I normally, or the beach house that we normally stay in, that I'm sure we'll stay again in next year because I think everyone was mutually bored senseless on this trip by our location.
So what'd you do for fun over there?
I edited videos and watched Godzilla.
Oh, you did those two
I went-
things
I mean,
you
I
do
went
at
on-
home on vacation.
Yeah, but I did it with better air conditioning.
Well,
And I walked. I walked on the beach. I like walking on the beach. My name is Ian, and I like long walks on the beach. I do actually like walking on the beach, and it was the coolest beach I've ever been on. So I did wander around a lot. We went to a Fort Macon, which is a Civil War era Confederate fort. It actually predates the Civil War, but it's kind of cool. It's got a nice history behind it. It predates the Civil War a little bit. Then the Confederates used it during the Civil War. Got captured by the Union, which is pretty rad. As Pennsylvanians, it's like, yeah, we won. And then after that, it was actually used as a munitions station in World War II. So it's
Wow.
like, it's pretty rad.
Neat history.
So that place is cool. And it was the first time we were there where it wasn't like swelteringly hot, and I could actually like enjoy the exhibits.
Mm-hmm.
Minus the fact that it was like wet, and I was in flip flops walking through like ankle deep water sand, or not water
Cool.
sand, water grass. And there's a incredibly cool beach. That's the other end of the island. The fort is I was on one tip of the island. The fort is on the other tip, like 20-ish miles, I think, away. Or less than that, like probably about 20-ish, maybe a little more. But it has a natural rock pier, which is fascinating.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool, but I was so bored,
Mm-hmm.
and I was ready to go home.
Sounds like
If I was in a better location, it would have been a better week because the location was phenomenal, except for the fact that it was raining and I don't swim. So I didn't really get much out of it.
Yeah.
If I could walk and get coffee, I would have been
That's something.
golden. But aside from that, it was a good vacation. I got a lot of crab. And I enjoy spending time with family, I guess. So it was all right. Well, your vacation, though.
Okay.
It was a little more action-packed and kinetic, so why don't you tell us about it?
Okay, I'm gonna give you this short story because we'll be here forever if I give you all the little details. I'll just summarize it. Basically, my vacation usually starts off with me going to my grandma's and then going to my uncle's.
This is
for the
all in
fun
New York,
stuff.
by the way.
Yeah, it's New York City.
Tim's from Brooklyn.
No, it's Queens, but he's gonna tell you it's Brooklyn
It's
every
Brooklyn.
time. Just whatever. Anyway, the point. We only went to Manhattan once. Queens. Okay, whatever. Anyway, the point is, we went to New York and we went to my uncle's we went straight to my uncle's after getting out of Penn Station in Manhattan, the main city, and we got immediately after we got there, a guy was pulled over randomly, dropping off someone, and we saw an officer walk right up. He was just pulling over for half a second, went over, scanned his little ID and stuff that's in the quarter of your car, and gave him a ticket right there.
Nice.
Because it's like no standing at all. It was a sign. It's like, he was just dropping someone off, dropping someone, come over, get out, keep going, and you get a ticket. And they start getting to an argument. And then my uncle comes by to pick us up in his car, and my mom and my aunt are there, and they're screaming at him to keep going. And he's confused because he doesn't know what they're screaming about. And like a guy walked by, he's like, "Oh, don't scream at the poor guy." And it was beautiful because he didn't know. He just saw two old ladies yelling at another guy.
That's
That was
awesome.
beautiful. He goes across the street. We get in. We get caught. We travel 1 block in the course of half an hour because of an unbelievably crazy traffic jam. Literally over half an hour to go a block, and then we turned off, got pizza, went home for the day. That was day we got there. It's like that out of the way. And then day 2, we went to that was I think the most eventful day. We usually take one day to go around Manhattan for fun, and that was our day for that. Except this time we went to see Phantom of the Opera in Broadway, and that was a really, really, really good play and had amazing effects of the singers and the orchestra.
Phantom of the Opera is one of my absolute favorite musicals.
It was the most amazing thing ever. I might have to show you just somebody. You're not supposed to record it, but there's people who snuck some video cameras in.
No, people always
Yeah,
do.
so I have to show you the intro to that because that is amazing.
Well, I'm pretty well familiar with.
Well, I
Phantom
know
of the
you are,
Opera.
but I have to show you what I saw.
I'm a very big musical fan, Broadway fan.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that was
there's a
crazy.
couple shows I'm going to see on Broadway.
Like
at some
during the intermission, we got to go down and we could see the orchestra underneath the stage and stuff. And up close, you could barely make out the panels that they use for the effects and stuff. Which I would get into depth. I'd go in depth with all that, with all the flames coming out of the floor and someone jumping and disappearing beneath the layer of fog. But
Just a side note about Broadway really quickly.
Mhm.
As a percussionist, I play drums primarily, but I play other percussion instruments as well. Broadway is incredibly difficult for a percussionist sometimes. I don't Phantom of the Opera is really not because of the more grandiose style of the music. I mean, it's not easy stuff. It's a hard book, but not impossible. Whereas, say, Wicked, the drummer on the drum set, he's part of the orchestra pit, but a lot of Broadway plays, Wicked being probably the most infamous for it. But I think most actually, well, not most, but some. Wicked is my favorite for this. The percussionists for other stuff has their own room separate from the stage because they would be so. It's a soundproof room that is mic'd and then played live with them, and they play alongside. They have cameras and a live feed of the conductor and the other players and such, and they watch that as if they're in the pit. But it takes up so much space that they could not possibly fit Wicked stuff into the Wicked being Tim. I don't know if you're familiar with Wicked.
I know Wicked. Yeah,
It's the Wicked Witch of the West
Yeah.
and Elphaba, which is a phenomenal musical. It's one of my favorites. Defying Gravity is just musical perfection. But that show in particular is interesting because they created a lot of instruments for it to get the more magical, whimsical sounds for Elphaba and for Glinda rather, not Elphaba. Elphaba's the Wicked Witch of the West, and for Elphaba they got more wooded sounds and a lot of marimba and stuff, but also a lot of just pieces of wood that they smack together and hollowed out pieces of wood to make almost boom whacker sounds, and it's fascinating what they do. But it's all in a separate room because it would take up most of the stage. And that's all one guy. And I'm just wow, you have more talent than Tim and me combined as people.
Well, anyway, I saw Phantom of the
That
Opera,
would be
and
a
it was-
fantastic time to see.
Yeah. So that was amazing. We went out. We went home. That was basically our city trip. We saw Phantom of the Opera, which I'm not complaining. That was amazing. We went to the souvenir shop, looked around a bit. That was the end of that day. The next day, we went to the beach. So I think we went to... I forget which beach we went to this time. We were going to go to 2, and then one we couldn't go to because of rain. We went to one that I went to when I was a kid, and it was the whole entire pier and boardwalk and stuff was washed away during Hurricane Sandy, so everything was brand new when we went. So it used to have the statue of a whale. They didn't have that anymore, and the beach is a lot shorter, but the whole boardwalk is completely redone with all these new buildings, and it's concrete and yada, yada, yada. It was really nice. So we get there and we start going right, and they started playing that. There's a guy that had a boombox that was playing stereotypical beach reggae music or whatever. And my uncle and they just looked at each other and just like, no, we are not putting our stuff here. So we walked to the other end of the beach, like 3 blocks away, and set up over there. And we're like, this is just the right spot. Look, there's a sign. We read it. It's like, be careful of sharp objects. We look down, and there's like broken bits of the pier directly in front of the sign. So we're like, okay, let's stay away from that when we go into the water. So already we're off to a good start. We get in the water. The waves are a lot weaker this year because like the past few times we went, you get hit by a wave and be like, yep, that I'm not going out further than that. And we slowly made our way up. Me and my sister staying the whole time, my uncle and everything, they all stayed out, but I actually started going in. So for the first time in years, I actually got out to the point where the waves would start to form so I could go over them before they actually hit you.
That's a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun with that. But then things got really weird with a whole bunch of, how do I say this on the show? Topless people.
Nudists.
Yes. They were not known to be in that area, but just so happened we were just there and
like
got
male or female?
Female, and we were surrounded by him.
Hey man, free the nip. It's a good
So
movement.
that was something that happened. We were just
That's a legal thing actually. In New York.
Yeah, I know it's legal. But
it's just for the sake of viewership, I want to explain.
Yeah,
because I don't know if it's a well-known law because people get really outraged. But in New York, the law goes that, and it's a good law to have, honestly, because you know. It's a very feminist thing, and I think my views on that on the show are pretty clear. But it's if anywhere a man can be topless, so can a woman, which is as much meant to encourage women to be comfortable as it is to get men to stop being shirtless everywhere. It's like I think a 50-50 mix. But yeah, just for the sake of clarity,
for me.
That's why that's legal.
Yeah, it was just weird because I never experienced anything like that before. So
I'm in favor of that, but at the same time, I'd be incredibly uncomfortable with it due to lack of exposure to it.
Yeah. Like, picture you and your younger sister just running waves for the first time in years, and all of a sudden you're surrounded by a whole bunch of topless people. You're like trying to avert your eyes because you know it's kind of
you
weird.
don't
it's
want to.
Weird.
You're okay with it, but you don't want to be staring.
Yeah.
So
it's weird. So we kind of just like, okay, this is happening. Let's keep riding the waves until we just turn around, and they were just like topless, like they were playing with each other. Like splashing and giddy and stuff, and it was kind of weird because they're surrounding us, so we're just in the middle of all this. Like, okay, we go back, and our whole family just makes fun of us. Like, you're surrounded by topless girls. It's like, yep, that we were.
If you were anything if you were anything other than thrilled by that whole situation, then you're spending vacation wrong.
I'm sorry, that was just weird to me.
I'd be incredibly uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, that's
also because it's something I'm so not used to. But at the same time, I'd be like, go on.
Yeah, see, so for me it was just weird. So we got back and it was like, okay, so we started going home. We got KFC because the KFCs by us closed down. My mom doesn't want to drive. Nobody wants to drive that far, like as a half an hour just to get to the nearest one.
Between 20 minutes and 40 minutes, depending on traffic.
Yeah,
to
so
the KFC.
The point is, it's too far away.
I also had KFC on my trip.
Yeah, awesome. So we're coming home from the beach. We got KFC, and they don't have my boneless bites or boneless whatever anymore that I used to get all the time. So I was upset about that. But whenever we got food, and they accidentally gave us an extra bucket from the people beside us, I guess. So we got an extra bucket of chicken, and we were like, whoa. And it all went because there was like my aunt, my uncle, me, my mom, my sister, and then their son came back. And so it all went, and it was really good. And that was the end of day 2. And then day 3 happened. And I think this is the day that we went to my grandma's house. Instead of going to my grandma's first, we went there second. So we go to her house. We get settled there. After doing whatever. And then nothing much happened that day. I don't remember, I think. Or was it the day we went to the beach? I might say this out of order. The point is we went there, and then but when I was at my grandma's house, it was all family stuff. So like I went to a family reunion on my mom's side, which I didn't know anything about. So I didn't know anybody there, and it was at one of her cousin's houses or something instead of the park we always went to. So we were in this really, really nice house. Like their backyard was a small backyard, but it was like right next to the canals, and they had boats and canoes and kayaks and jet skis and all, and the house was giant and really nice, and they had caterers, so it was a pretty good time.
It sounds like a good time, yeah.
It was just I didn't know anybody there, so like me and my sister would awkwardly sit wherever people weren't and just like go over occasionally to get food and drinks. So it was iffy, but as we spent time there, we got more comfortable, and we're just like, yeah, this place is nice, I guess. But that was that. We didn't want to go on our phones because it'd be rude, so we just kind of just sat there and looked at things and talked for like 2.5 hours to 3 hours. So like, okay, that day's done.
I assume you then closed your eyes and wistfully thought of your time at the beach surrounded by nearly naked women playing in the water.
No, that actually...
You're not living that down because you were not happy about what you probably should have been absolutely over the moon about. As uncomfortable as I can't get over that.
Yeah.
I know it would have
I
been
haven't told him this yet, so that's why this is all...
Yeah, this is hilarious.
These are live reactions
I
you're
didn't
hearing.
hear about that, and I'm trying... You have no idea how much he's gonna be ruined after the show is done being recorded.
He's not gonna let me live this down. I should have told him.
Live this down. You're gonna be living it up. This is a great thing to happen to someone.
Anyway,
but like, I just want to state for the record, in case it's not clear.
Yes.
It is incredibly cool that happened. The freely nipple movement is something that I don't fully understand. But I support because, like, I understand its message, and I support its message because equality is important, and that's the main thing.
I want to be talking about like when I go to the museum and he's but the topless girls. It's like,
let me finish. But I understand why it was super uncomfortable because again, we don't have that kind of movement around here.
I'm a sheltered
We're not
child
used to that.
in hillbilly country.
Well, that's the main thing. We're both pretty open considering that we're from hillbilly country. And you know, we support movements of all kinds. But that's one that like I support, but I'd be like somewhere between I spend all my time alone in my room playing video games and watching monster movies. Oh my gosh, women's boobs. And then like it would so get to me.
Okay.
And then like most of my like aside from Tim and a few others, most of my like close friends are females. So chances are I'd end up texting being like, OMG, this happened. And they'd be like, are we supposed to be impressed? And then I'd be like, yeah. And then they'd be like, we're not. And then I'd be upset. So
okay, well,
that's like I'm telling my whole family about that.
Okay, good.
You told all of our friends, yeah? Did
no,
you?
I haven't told any of our friends.
They're gonna love it. They're gonna be so jealous.
Anyway, I was
the gay
about
ones
to
are gonna
go
be
on
jealous
about how I was gonna get lemon ice, and then that was that day. And then the next day happened where more family came over, and we had our one crazy uncle who came over who he's like 60 or something, but he does like flagpole and he has fake seizures on the ground for fun. It's like, look at him go, and plays the fiddle.
That guy's incredibly cool.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's horrifying, but no, that guy's like the coolest person.
Yeah, he doesn't actually like he'll just be like, yay, and he'll jump on the ground, he'll just fall over and start shaking violently. For that like seizure wise, like he'll be flailing around.
Like,
it's like
what, 3 hours talking to him about fiddles and, different string instruments. I don't play any string instruments, but I was a cellist for a couple of years, and
he's a really good fiddlist, so
dude is awesome. Fiddler.
Yeah.
I keep it's cellist, violinist, but fiddler. But oh my gosh, that guy was awesome.
Yes, so
that's all. I can hang out with him all day.
Yeah, and it was his son and his son's son, so I got to see his children for the first time, and he chased me around the house. It was really cute because he was only like 1, and they had a daughter who was like 7 months old or something.
I think I saw a picture of that on Facebook.
You probably did, because my whole family is Facebook people. So, but the point is, I had fun with them, and we went out and got more KFC. Except this time it was at a closer one to my grandma's house, and the one that was closest shut down, so we had to go slightly further, and that one had a bad rating. We're like, yeah, whatever. We go there, we get our food, we sit down, it's okay. Suddenly there's like 50 people and there's like 4 staff members, so everyone was complaining and freaking out, and here we are eating our food like, yeah, I guess we can't get grandma's chicken pie because they're all there, and we're not going to wait for that. So we went home, and we were all saying our goodbyes and stuff, and I'm starting, and my grandma asked me to do a simple chore, right? So just, she's really into flowers and stuff, so she has a garden in the front, back, and everywhere. It's all these crazy flower types, and I just had to pick up some flowers in the front for the family people to take home, and I was going to plant something in this place. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. So I get the tools from her shed. I do it. The instant I put the pitchfork into the ground, 1 trillion bugs of every type you can imagine fly out of the flowers, and they're just all around me, and I was swiping them off and stuff. I'm like, and I just got it done. I'm like, well, I bet I know what happened. And I go inside, look at my legs, bam, bug bites everywhere. Every time I went to New York City, I'd get bug bites on my legs and arms and stuff, and it'd be super annoying. And this year, I didn't get them, and I was so happy. But then I looked down, I'm like, well, there they are. Time to spend the rest of my vacation in agony and itching and stuff. But on the good side, that was the first night I was able to go and watch the new episode of Rick and Morty live on TV when it broadcasted at midnight. And also I had Popeye's Strawberry Lemonade, which you don't have many Popeyes out here, so I got that. And it was really good. It's like the best lemonade I ever had ever. So that was basically the last day there. The next day, we were going to go to the beach with my uncle again because they're closer to the station, so they pick us up before we go the next day. So so that we went with them, and instead of going to the beach, it was raining, so we went to see Spider-Man: Homecoming, one of those
phenomenal movie.
Yeah, and also a cool theater where I forget what it's called, but it's the kind where you basically every seat is like a, I don't know, what's it called, like a lazy boy chair or something.
Yeah, those are nice.
They go up and stuff. So
our nearest one is like
I don't know,
15 or 20 minutes away from here.
I
We
saw-
have one.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
they
I've never
serve
been
like
to one.
I've never been to it, but I know we have one,
Mm-hmm.
and they serve like excellent food. What was the
Yeah,
second
well,
in
they
that
just
place
had stereotypical normal food there, whatever,
Yeah.
but it was good, and we saw that. And then we went back, and we got Chinese food for the first time while we were there, because, like, New York Chinese food, whatever. And we also had pizza at my grandma's. Forgot to say that, best pizza ever. But, yeah, so we had that. We played a game of categories for fun, and then the next day we went home. And I would wrap it up there, but I forgot to mention the train rides because the train rides are pretty interesting. So the first train ride there was pretty short. I had my phone this time. I didn't bring my laptop this year or anything like I used to, so I just listened to music and watched the videos on the way there. Used up almost all my data because at my uncle's house, they're the more techie people, so they had really high-speed internet and stuff. This year, their internet was non-compliant. It didn't work with anything, not even their own stuff. So I used data at their house, and I accidentally used up all of my data watching videos and looking up stuff. So I was like, crap. So I bought some more, and I almost used up all of that data. And that my grandma's house, of all places, the least tech. Like she has a laptop to go on Facebook like once a month, but she had everything working fine. So I got to use the internet there for stuff. So that was the first train ride. The second train ride was better. Actually, no, it was longer. It's an 8-hour train ride, but the ride home, we took Amtrak, was an hour longer because we had to wait for a freight train to pass or something. So instead of an 8-hour ride, it was a 9-hour ride. So it actually felt longer because I listened to all the songs and videos, so I was just bored. I think I watched the entirety of Rick and Morty season 1 and 2 on the ride home just because I didn't have anything else to do. And I was trying out like a VR thing. I'm like, oh, wait, I can't do VR on a train because it turns. So I was like, forget that. And this lady and her 2 grandchildren sat next to us. I had to throw this in at the end because it's really nice. I'm assuming she was a grandma. And she had 2 kids, and they both had iPads, and they were like blah 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 playing games and driving her crazy, but less crazy because they had their mobile devices. And the one was starting to die, and they couldn't find their charger. So they asked us for a charge. I'm like, okay, my phone's basically fully charged. Here, you can borrow it. They're like, thank you so much. And they're like worshiping us for letting them a charger. So I'm like, okay. And then they're like, hey, how about we give you, since you're so nice to us, we'll give you all these freshly picked fruits from this farm we were just at. It's like, wait, what?
That's a fair trade.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, they had those suitcases, and then next to the suitcase, they had 2 giant boxes. One was a giant box of freshly picked blueberries that are like some of the newer kinds that apparently they never get soft. They're always like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nice,
they're the really nice GMO ones.
Yeah, when they're really big. And then they gave us like 4 tomatoes that were like bigger than my hand, just gigantic. 3 giant tomatoes. And they were gonna give us more, but like, no, you just gave us a crap ton of stuff, and like you emptied bags of miscellaneous items you had just to put them in. So we're good, thank you. We just lent you a charger, and in return, you gave us all these.
Hey man,
fresh
that's
fruits
an
from the farm.
awesome
So
snack. That's great.
That was a nice story. And then just to wrap it up on a funny note, when we were getting off the train.
Oh, I'm wrapping this up on the funniest note. I've been holding in a vacation detail, but
oh,
you'll hear it. You know it, but you'll.
I just want to say it's funny
hear it.
because when we were getting off the train, the lady who gave us that stuff, she's like, oh man, I started smoking again. I probably shouldn't have, but like, if I don't get it, I need to take a drag, and if I don't do it here, I'm gonna kill somebody. And I'm like, oh, I don't think you'll be able to do it here, but I guess you could try. She's like, I should be able to. So we get off the train. My mom gets off. My sister gets. I get off. I'm just like, wait, she was right behind me. I wonder. I look back and I see her talking to the guy. It's like, hey, can I get off here for a quick smoke? He's like, no, you can't do that. And she's like bargaining with him for stuff, and he wouldn't let her. And I just see her go back, and I'm like, she's gonna kill somebody. So I don't know. That was as funny as I thought, but it was funnier if you were there. And then I got home, and then I came home. My home didn't have as much of that new house smell that you get when you're gone for a long time as it used to. And I adjusted quickly, and yeah, that was my vacation. I had a lot more fun on it.
Well, I
completely left out the part about going to the Museum of Moving Pictures.
Oh yeah, you should probably mention that.
Yeah, that happened one of the days, the last day before I went to the day I went to my grandma's house. That morning we went to the Museum of Moving Pictures, which is pretty cool. It just had like every single little movie related thing from the past, like every old video camera you can imagine was on display. It had sets and stuff from the Star Wars. I saw the most beautiful Star Trek dolls ever. I have to show you pictures of them after the video. Maybe I might upload them if I feel like it. I have to show you. It's like the Spock doll, and it's beautiful. And there were some other things. And like the top floor you would have liked because it was a video arcade of every like old arcade machine you can imagine, just lined up everywhere for you to try out. And they had like a whole bunch of crazy. Like, they had this one that was like Star Wars, but it's like drawn with lines. I don't know how to describe it.
Vector.
Yeah,
would be the term. Yes.
Yeah, that.
Was it the one where you play the trench run?
Yeah.
Oh, that game's awesome.
I couldn't. My eyes did not.
There's a
follow
free
it properly.
Android port of it. That's
So,
really good, actually. But yeah, no, that's the original Star Wars arcade game.
Yeah, I
couldn't. I love that game.
I couldn't figure it out. I lost, but the sound on it was the remix, the 8-bit remixes.
Awesome. It was one of the most important arcade games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
And then we went to the interactive zone, so they had like the ones where like you push the wheel. If you look through the hole, you see a guy running, and they had the old penny or what is it called? The 1 cent look thingies. There's a name for them that's passing my mind right now.
Same, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you put the penny and you crank it, except these were free and it plays a song.
The ones I made a joke about being the first virtual reality.
Yeah, and it was cool because one was like a reality show I didn't know, but the other one was actually Godzilla and King Kong, so I got to watch them fight on the old like.
Hey, I watched that movie last night.
Moving the crank and stuff, and had a whole bunch of other interactive things there where you could replace sound effects, do voiceovers and stuff. So it was really cool, and I forgot to mention it, so I just did now. And also, I tried Greek food for the first time after that.
Greek food?
Yeah, like we went to a Greek.
Did you get a gyro?
No, but I did.
I love gyro. Or gyros is correct pronunciation.
I did try lamb though.
Oh, lamb's great.
I didn't like it that much. It was
it
like
depends
a really
on how it's made.
Sweet steak. It was a kebab of it, but it was like
I've never had a lamb kebab.
It was good, but it wasn't. I didn't like it that much.
I don't know how much you'd like a gyro, gyro, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not really something you'd like, but they're phenomenal in gyros.
Yeah, so I tried it. It was like really sweet steak kind of ish, sort of. But yeah, I tried it for the first time there, and it was really good. So
I think this is our longest GamerGobble episode.
Probably.
Which is cool by me. I don't care.
Which is ironic because we wanted this to be a
this is
shorter
supposed to be a short
episode.
one because I just got back for vacation yesterday, and I'm like, my sleep schedule's super messed up, and I'm really tired.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really care. I'm having fun with this episode.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. How about you tell me your
one more thing, two things. One, you're complaining about it's so awful to have to be an hour extra on the thing from a freight train. Man, my car ride is supposed to be about 10 hours. It was delayed by traffic to 14, I think.
Well then.
We spent 3 hours going 2 miles.
3 hours going 2 miles. Wow. Okay, that's a pretty.
You know how bad that was on gas?
Yeah, that must have been really bad. I got stuck in traffic, traveling a block in half an hour. So I guess if you do the math,
but that's technically worse. But you were in the city.
Yeah, and it was just
we
a
were
block,
just on a highway.
Yeah.
But there was construction and a wreck.
Well, good.
That's
great.
Always a good combination. The other thing, there's a town that we stayed in prior to the beach called New Bern, North Carolina. It's a beautiful town. It was the original capital of North Carolina during colonial times. It was the birthplace of Pepsi Cola, which is great because there's a little Pepsi museum that I spent some time in, got some incredibly cheap Diet Pepsi, and I love Diet Pepsi. So I was happy with that. And the town as a whole is very nice. But there were two things that I encountered that just struck me as odd. I'll mention the less odd of them first because this one's more cool. Both I have pictures of, and both I will be forwarding along to Tim to put in the show. I'll send him a reminder.
Okay.
To make sure he knows to put them at the end of the episode because they're interesting. One was a playground outside a church. Nothing too weird. There was also a church this church had like, I believe it was 17th century, 17th/18th century graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
So these colonial era to revolutionary era graves, which were fantastic. It's incredible. These ancient graves that are some of the oldest I've ever seen, predating the United States itself. At first, the two things about that graveyard. One, everyone was named Levi. There were like 7 Levis. And I was like, what's up with everyone being named Levi?
Okay, that's cool.
Second of all, the playground I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to show Tim a picture so he has a live reaction. But it'll be on screen right about now. It was built on top of said pre-revolutionary cemetery. It's just this modern playground on this scattered ancient cemetery.
Wow.
How incredibly cool is that?
That's cool.
And like you can tell
it's also weird, but
because I was just trying to line up a really nice picture because there's a weeping willow and like the shot was asymmetrical in the best way. But then there's a playground and I was like, whoa, wait, that's right there.
Yep.
And yeah, there's a playground on there's a grave next to the playground.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's on screen right now, and it's awesome. And it was the second weirdest thing I saw down there.
Okay.
The first, we're gonna have to blur a phone number on this.
Okay.
I'll probably blur it in Photoshop before I send it along to you, or have you do it because it takes 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is technically outside of New Bern at a mall, but you've already seen this. It was a van.
This one.
Well, just drum roll, please. There's the van. If you're just listening and can't see, it is a big van parked in a handicap spot, without a handicap sticker that says 24-hour daycare and lists a phone number.
Well,
now if that isn't who I want my children to go to this van, I will leave them there forever, and it will be their forever home. I just thought that was the sketchiest thing I'd ever seen, and if that doesn't summarize a vacation in the Deep South, I don't know what does.
Well then,
it's just super weird because it doesn't make any sense.
The vacation might have been more boring, but you had some more interesting encounters.
I had some weird encounters. I always have weird encounters down there, but I think that's the number one thing to remember, that if you want daycare, vans. And on that note, that does it for another not very gaming topic episode of GamerGobble. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to hit that big old subscribe button, or little, who knows what YouTube's updating. Or you can click the card at the end of the video. If you really liked us, leave us a comment down below. If you didn't like us, leave us a comment down below. If you loved the video, like it and share it. If you didn't like it and share it anyway. We're desperate and lonely.
Yeah.
If you are listening to this on SoundCloud or iTunes, which we have not been keeping up with uploading to, because I think you keep forgetting to render it as MP3s, and I keep forgetting to export it and redo it as an MP3.
Well, it's like uploading it to YouTube takes X amount of time, and it takes the same amount if I want to upload it to
At
SoundCloud.
some point, I'm going to buckle down and just personally just upload the entire show to our SoundCloud. And once it's on SoundCloud, it takes 2 seconds to put it to iTunes. But in any case, that was off track.
Yep.
If you enjoyed and you're listening on there, be sure to follow us or subscribe to us on SoundCloud or iTunes or Google. Who knows how you're listening to this. And above all else,
thank you.
Just love us. We're lonely.
No, don't.
We depend on our viewers' love. Please.
Oh, I got plenty of that. Time for my shameless plug. Boom, guy, go to
What's it have to do with anything?
It doesn't.
I'm over here struggling with my channel. Well, not really struggling. I haven't started it. But in fact, I actually have a viewer base and partnership offers before I formally started.
Well, there you go.
But that's irrelevant.
Hey, now.
Hey, now. This is what copyright strikes are made of.
We got plenty of those.
We're
anyway,
both really tired.
We were wrapping up this show just now, so let's
if you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to keep listening to us.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. This is such a mess of an outro.
Goodbye, people.
We're too tired for this.